0 serves 1. Hand off. 1 serve 0. Hand off. 0 serves 1. Hand off. 1 serves 0. Short ball. Second serve. Hand off. Same score. 0 serves 1.
Welcome back to the New York Athletic Club and the Women's Race for 8 final. Katrina Casey, ranked in #1, undefeated in Women's Race for 8
Hand off.
history, taking on Sienna Nee Trin.
1 serves 0.
These two played just about 3 weeks ago in the finals of the National Collegiate Championships, won by Katrina Casey. Sienna in her first Women's Race for 8 event and advances to the
Hand
final.
off. 0
Very impressive
serves
for
1.
this just 18-year-old from Ireland.
Point. 1 serves 1.
Already Sienna scoring more points in this final than Katrina's opponent in the finals of the San Francisco
Point.
Race for 8 event.
2 serves 1.
And Carrie, you've seen all
Hand
the
off.
matches that Katrina's played this season. This is what we've
1
hoped to see, a
serves
competitive
2.
match. And this looks, for all intents and purposes, like it will be that.
We haven't seen a competitive match with Katrina for.
No.
I've never seen a competitive match with Katrina. So.
Well, she came into this event with a 46-point scoring streak and extended that by 30 after her first round
Hand off.
thrashing of 6th place finisher Yvonne August.
2 serves 1.
These Irish ladies are so talented.
Sienna, too, so athletic, and she covers so much of the court. Her height helps her out with some
Point.
of that, but she does really cover a lot of the
3
court and is so
serves
strong.
1.
Wow.
Point. 4 serves 1.
Carrie, you've been around sports your whole life and played them. What is it that makes Katrina so special, such a special athlete?
Point. 5 serves 1.
She, I think, mentally and physically is so strong in this sport. She's focused. Number one, she's competitive, but she just always stays in it. And I think she's just an
Hand
athlete
off.
at heart too. She's out there. She's not going shopping
1
downtown,
serves 5.
going on Fifth Avenue on her breaks here. She's watching
Short
handball.
ball.
She's studying it. She's focused.
Second
She's
serve.
thinking about it all the time. Just a committed athlete. That's just not here in New York. It's everywhere that we've gone with her. And as Dave was pointing out, just how ambidextrous she is and just athletic as far as both hands go, throwing with her left arm. As he was saying that, I was practicing throwing with my left arm, thinking about that for a second. Wow.
Hand off.
It's remarkable.
How much coordination that takes.
5 serves 1. Point. 6 serves 1. Short ball.
We were talking about how exciting it was to
Second
see
serve.
Katrina in a competitive match, but already leading 6-1 here and just totally dominating play. All these great players
Replay. Bad bounce.
seem
off
to
the
have
ceiling.
this ability to take their opponents completely out of their game and make other great players look ordinary. And we saw Sienna yesterday just look so good against Martina McMahon. And
Score
now
6 serves 1.
just being completely neutralized early here.
Point. 7 serves 1.
This is what Katrina did yesterday at the IFA, though. She let her have those couple points and ran away.
Look at these pass
Point.
shots. That was consecutive pass shots
Eighth
that double bounced the
serves
back
1.
wall that were just completely out of reach of Sienna. And those are demoralizing as an opponent. You see the shot coming and you just can't do anything about it. That
I
did
didn't
not
see
look
a
like a
bad
bad
bounce.
bounce.
See bad bounce? Both agree. It's a point. 9 serves 1.
That's one of those rules that the referees are kind of struggling to understand. But it's a learning process here. Oh,
didn't
terrible
say-
air there from
Timeout.
Sienna.
It's your first timeout. The score is 10
I know
serves
it's
1.
10-1 here, but after San Francisco, it's kind of nice just not to see a walk-off.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
nice to see some people getting in there and competing a little bit. And not to say Sienna doesn't have a chance to come back here, but it is nice to see people standing up to Katrina. Maybe the next couple, maybe in Salt Lake, bringing some more action. We'll see.
That would be ideal, but right now this is not looking much more competitive than the San Francisco final, despite Sienna being on the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm. That looks so pretty right now. I was out there with the marathon runners this morning, Dave. A lot of action in New York right now.
Yeah, there
Exciting
always
to
is.
see. There always is. So other people on our crew were talking about how late
20
they
seconds.
accidentally stayed out. And it's because when you're in Times Square at 2 o'clock in the morning, you think it's 9.
Right.
Never slows down.
10 seconds.
I put on Twitter that I went for a triathlon training run, which really didn't turn into a run. It was a run,
Resuming
stop,
play.
take a picture,
The score is 10
run, check
serves
out the
1.
marathon runners.
Well, you need that when you're training for triathlon because there is starting and stopping. You have to get on your bike.
True.
It's anaerobic in a lot of ways.
Just don't stop at Rockefeller Plaza and,
Well,
snap a shot.
I mean, you got to get your
Point.
bathing suit off, put your shoes on.
11
You don't take your bathing
serves
suit
1.
off, Dave. I know you wish you could be there when everyone has their suits
I
coming
didn't
off.
know.
There's
I
no-
just hate being in my wet bathing suit, so
I
I just
know.
figured you'd want to.
You know what? That's actually one of the parts that I dread the most is riding the bike in something wet. That just does not sound
I would
fun to me.
sacrifice the 30 seconds on my time to put some dry clothes on.
Yeah.
I think it would improve my time in the long run because I think I'd ride better with dry clothes.
You're tempting me, Dave. Tempting me.
Well, I think you have to
Okay.
look at the big picture. I mean, imagine how much smoother you'd ride. Dry shorts, imagine it.
Yeah.
More fun, too. I know it gets chilly in Portland, too. I mean, get pneumonia wearing a wet
Hand
bathing suit.
up.
You don't want pneumonia.
I'll be in Vegas.
1
Oh.
serves 11.
If you're going to do a triathlon, do it in Vegas, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Short ball.
And then I'm headed your direction. Grand
Second
Canyon.
serve.
Wow, very
Arizona,
cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Beautiful trip. Now, don't tell Katrina that you're doing this triathlon because she'll fly over and compete against you in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will beat her. That will be something I can strive for now.
She'll start training today right after the match. She'll go down to the bikes. She'll want to know exactly the layout of the course, hills.
Straight uphill for 2 miles. Already checked that out.
11 serves 1.
That actually would help me out probably a ton. I'd be more motivated.
Yeah. Well, she would never talk to you again if you beat her, so.
I'd throw it then.
Yeah.
Tell everyone I did. Nadia Alvarado Sr. keeps on
Point.
asking me to play handball so that Nadia Jr.'s
12
wife can play
serves 1.
and we'll play against each other. And I know how those Alvarados work.
Yeah.
I told him I don't like to lose. That's not going to happen because I can only imagine what might.
Yeah, if you don't like to lose, you shouldn't play sports because sports is all losing, as I find out virtually every day. It's rough on the soul.
Point.
Really
13
takes a
serves
part of your
1.
soul every day.
You're not thinking about Collins still, are you?
Well, yes.
Replay.
You need to go and
Bad bounce.
talk to Carl out there. Obert. He'll give you some
read,
tips.
I need to read some
Scores
of his
13
literature
serves
also.
First
1.
place or no place?
Yeah.
Dave?
And
There
finally,
we go.
Sienna's able to hit a
Timeout.
kill shot.
That's your second timeout. The score is 1 serves 13.
What's Katrina thinking about right now?
I think just the next point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's thinking that I just gave Sienna a setup with her left hand. I pinned myself on the left wall. I can't do that again. I saw what she can do from that spot. I'm not going to give her that opportunity.
Now, you've played Katrina before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the difference in the way that she plays women versus when she picks up the man's ball and plays?
You know, that's interesting that you say that because I'm not a big
20
proponent
seconds.
of the game being a lot different based on the ball. To me, I don't really care what ball I use. But I do notice that when she plays with the harder ball, her timing is not right. And certain shots that she hits with this ball that's a little bit lighter don't work with the heavier ball.
Resuming play.
There's certain
The
little
score is
punch
1
fist shots that
serves
she hits
13.
that have great control with this lighter ball that really don't do anything with a harder ball. They don't have the same effect when they hit your fist. And there's certain shots that she'll pinch that don't work with the harder ball. And, you know, her footwork and her timing is so perfect. And it's just a little bit off when she uses that heavier ball. And it makes a huge difference. I've seen her make a lot more errors in the matches she's played with the harder ball because her feet just aren't perfectly set. And some players,
Hand off.
you know, like Sean Lenning or
Score is 13 serves
Luis
1.
Moreno, can hit shots off balance and seemingly hit just as well. But, you know, for Katrina, who's so technically sound, she gets her feet set perfectly on every shot. And if they're not, she's not used to it. And she's not going to make as great as shots. And I think for her to qualify on the Race for 8, she would need to spend a good bit of time training with that ball just because she's never used it, and it's something that she's just not accustomed to hitting. So I could see it happening. I think she would need a couple of months.
She's so consistent that you can
Yeah.
imagine as when something becomes inconsistent
you.
to you, the frustration
Yeah.
that might
That's a
also
hand off.
occur.
Yeah.
Knowing exactly with this,
13
where she's going to be,
serves
where she's
1.
going to hit, how it's going to feel.
Well, she also plays the game so relaxed on the women's Race for 8 and all these championships she wins, but she has a little bit of anxiety
off.
playing in the
1
men's bracket,
serves 13.
and that impacts her a little bit. So you've got all these little things that probably drop her game by 15 or 20% overall.
But it's also something she wants, and you're going to have that little bit of stress and anxiety, which is a good stress and anxiety sometimes when you want something, when you're a little nervous because it's something new. It's something that you want, though, and you know she's been so good in the women's game that that's something that challenges are more than this, you know, and something that you can't conquer quite yet. So you're not going to be calm, and that's probably a good thing.
Point.
Well,
bring a little bit of fire to it.
Yeah. Speaking of not being calm, Sienna cannot be very calm right now. I mean, this is kind of like a nightmare scenario for Sienna. You think to yourself, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'm in my first ever women's race freight final. I'm just going to go out there and have fun. And in your back of your mind, you're thinking, well, I mean, I guess I could get one. Yeah. And, you know, I think every athlete fears that, but you certainly don't get into a match thinking that. She did reasonably well in Portland. I think you saw them play in the finals. She scored, I think, 5 and 10 points in 2 games.
Serves 14. Short ball.
And that's the problem when you play a really great player and you have a pretty respectable showing. Now you're on their radar. And, you know, sometimes you don't want to be on their radar. Sometimes you want to just fly under the radar. But that's part of becoming a great player, is taking the best shot from the best players. Generally, the best players have to face your best, but once they know you're a threat, now you're facing their best. And what makes players so great is that they have another gear, these great players. Paul Brady is incredible, but if you really pushed him, you're going to see something that's even more incredible.
We'll see if Andy can do that today, fly under the radar. He has a bit of this tournament, so.
Game, 3 minutes.
Game number 1, Katrina Casey wins 15-1 after trailing 1-0, scores 15 straight points. Yesterday, she closed out that semifinal match, scoring 29 out of 30 points against Eva McCarthy after trailing 6-1. So we're going to take a quick break here, Kara. You join us in just about 2 minutes for game number 2 of this women's race freight final from New York City.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Play your part in the circle of life. Take time to be a dad today. Visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't, because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Okay, second game. Katrina to serve first. 0 serve 0. Short ball. Second serve.
Welcome back to game number 2 here, women's race grade final. David Fink alongside Kara Mack, the best in the business, Kara Mack. And we're watching Kara, the best in the women's handball business, Katrina Casey.
Shaking my head right now, Dave. Not true, thank you. But she is the best. Now you have me scared she's going to come after me at this triathlon.
Well, just have to make sure you don't tell her about it.
She already knows. She asked me about it this morning. Now that you say that to me, she's like, you went for a run this morning?
Oh yeah, she would have been
called me
competing with you.
Hand
She
off.
said, you're making me look bad. Like, how am I making you look bad from going for a run and taking pictures?
0
As you come and win
serve
this
0.
finals.
That's a competition.
Hand off. 0 serve 0.
It's exciting to hear these Irish women that talk about the growth of the sport in Ireland. And Martine McMahon was talking about it yesterday, about all these young girls who are now becoming very interested in it. And
Field to serve.
it's exciting
1
for them.
agrees. 2 agrees.
And to be here is exciting for
Point.
them. And they all hang out together.
Yeah.
1 serve 0.
And we saw those two sitting together next to you
Right.
before.
I don't know if you had a
match.
chance to go to the banquet last night, but all the ladies dressed up in really beautiful dresses, and they all look
Hand off.
wonderful, all hanging out together. And, you know, it makes you realize how great this handball community is, because it was Stephen Cooney,
0
Daniel
serve
Cordova,
1.
Andy Nett, all the Irish players, everyone that plays against each other and puts everything
Short ball.
everything
Second serve.
into these matches to win, and yet they're all such good friends off the court. It's really a cool experience. You know, in tennis, Kara, these players travel with entourages. You know, the best players may bring 6 or 7
serve
employees with them,
1.
from a coach to a therapist, physio, a hitting partner, maybe even a sports psychologist, a girlfriend. So they're surrounded, you know, and you really can't get near them. And the players
Hand off.
will only actually
1
say hello
serve
to each
1.
other, even though they see each other at every event. There's not much of a personal relationship. But in handball, you know, you talk about someone like Yvonne August, 47 years old, coming to these events by herself. These Irish ladies, you know, they may travel together, but there's no entourage. You know, it's really a cool sport in that respect.
Point. 2 serves 1.
But like you said, there's a lot of interest
Green
in Ireland
serve.
and women's handball. And apparently there's a lot of young girls that
2
are
serves.
6 or 7 years younger than Katrina, who just turned 21, that are up and coming. So we could be seeing challenges from young ladies that aren't even in high school yet in a couple years.
We haven't seen Sienna and Martina until now, so
Right.
Point.
You don't think of Katrina being a hard
3
hitter, but you'd have to
serves
say
1.
she's the hardest hitter in this event. You know, I mean,
if you've never played handball either and you get out there, you
Hand
never
off.
know how hard someone hits until it comes at you. It's kind of like tennis. If
Yeah,
you
it's
think you
true.
can play tennis, if you ever went out and actually took
Uh-huh.
a
1
serve
Right.
serves
of
3.
any of those professionals, it's
never get one back,
you
not
get
one.
hit in the face, yeah,
Short ball.
before
You
your
know,
racket
the
gets it.
camera
Appeal
makes
to
everything
serve.
look so
1
easy.
agrees. 2 agrees. Short ball.
On the contrary, if you go and watch these handball matches from up above in the balcony, it's so fast, and you think to yourself, how could I ever even get one ball back? It's just moving so fast, it's intimidating. Even the pro players are up there thinking that to themselves against people that they beat. And then, of course, when
Hand
you're in the
off.
court,
3 serves 1.
reflexes you have to have.
Yeah.
And that, you know, a lot of times you see the sweat on their backs once the game hits 5 points, and you wonder, God, is it really that hard?
yeah.
But with how quick you're moving, sudden bursts, it's just going to get your heart rate up.
Well, handball has been consistently rated by the Presidential Council on Physical Fitness as the #1 activity for burning calories and building muscular strength. That's ahead of swimming and jogging and weightlifting and soccer and
Short ball.
anything that you can do. And it's fun too.
Second
until
serve.
you lose. Then.
Or you bruise your hand like I did trying to play without a glove.
Yeah.
I think you said I was smart yesterday. You didn't know that story yet.
I could see that happening. I have to warm up my hands for a couple minutes and then wear liners and padded gloves. Otherwise, I'll bruise mine instantly.
I get pretty competitive, and I was playing myself. So.
Okay. And Sienna just completely off balance there.
That's your first time out. The score is 5 serves 1.
And just like any sport, you have to be on balance. You have to be able to transfer your weight from your back leg and back foot into your front foot. Otherwise, you're just not going to have any consistency. And, you know, a lot of times when you get frustrated, your fundamentals kind of go out the window. And that's what's happening right now with Sienna. She's not moving herself behind the ball. She's not setting her feet. And Katrina's completely in control. She trailed 1-0. She's now scored 20 of the last 21 points. And I think Katrina heard that talk in Portland. You know, I wasn't even there, and I heard a lot of the chatter that this, you know, Sienna's a great young player. She's got all the tools. She really pushed Katrina. Katrina files that into her mental computer, and she wants to prove to people.
20 seconds.
You know. She's not as close as you think she is, although she'd never say that.
10 seconds.
Sienna has so much power, though. You find her off balance, but her arm is still giving so much into that ball that if she does gain that balance, can get her feet to it.
We want to thank Edel Handball and Ben Edel, who is in your hometown of Portland, for supporting the Race for 8. Edel Handball is the title sponsor of the Race for 8 Tour. Katrina Casey, a recent Team Edel sponsored athlete. You can see that Team Edel
the score is 5 serves 1.
The Team Edel pro gloves and the goggles. She's fit head to toe in Edel gear, and I'll tell you, it's probably the most comfortable gear I've ever worn. The fabric and the fit and the look, second to none.
6 serves 1.
Is Sienna going to be in Salt Lake City for sure?
I think she's still working on her schedule. She's, I believe, in her first year of college. And you know how that can be. You have exams and you have classes that you can't miss. And, you know, you're coming all the way from Ireland. It's not like you can leave on Thursday night like you'd be able to in the United States. I mean, you'd have to leave on Monday or Sunday to get there and acclimate yourself. And, you know, these Irish players take it very seriously. If they're going to play in an event, they're going to get there 3 or 4 days early, get used to the courts, the conditions, hit up Big 5 sporting goods stores, which is also just as important as the courts. Yeah.
Katrina was very excited because she got to hit up the Portland Nike employee store.
When Katrina and E Ft came to Tucson, all they wanted to do was go to Sports Authority and load up on handball gear that they could wear and buy. That was after playing handball for 5 hours and then going back for a second round after buying an entirely new handball wardrobe.
Hand off.
We haven't seen that person yet.
Serves
The day, you know, you see the golfers, there's always one that stands out with that wardrobe.
Right.
That can be you in Salt Lake.
It might be. We do need Ricky Fowler.
Exactly.
I don't think we need a John Daly, though.
No, we do not.
Point. 7 serves 2.
Are you thinking about it? Are you envisioning it right now? What can I get my hands on?
We have a pretty strict dress code here on the WPH Race for 8, so I don't know how wild you can go.
Hand off.
And in these athletic clubs.
2 serve 7.
I got stopped this morning
Yeah, it's
just in my athletic gear.
a lot of
I
rules
apparently
here.
did not look like a handball player. Was scolded to go to the athletic elevators.
I don't know if you've been able to explore this club, Kara, as we watch Katrina now 8 points from winning this title, but every
Point.
floor has something that's even more interesting
3
and
serve
spectacular.
7.
There's a boxing room on the 7th floor with official boxing rings and heavy bags. I've never seen anything like that, you know. And then you've got the 10th floor, beautiful billiards rooms, snooker, full-size pool tables. I mean, it's
incredible.
yeah.
Point.
I was boxing this morning.
Oh,
4
okay.
serve 7.
I did take a picture, a few last night actually, one of Mike Tyson playing handball. Have you
Yeah,
seen that one?
I have, yeah.
And
Point.
many others.
The members here are very proud
5 serve
of
7.
this club and being members, and they should be.
You know, Mike Tyson has always said it's sports like this and tennis that have gotten him to be such a good boxer because it's essentially boxing without the physical contact. Thinking of your next shot, strategizing against your opponent.
Yeah, he was a
Point.
good boxer until someone actually hit him back.
6
And-
serve 7.
Not so much. But, you know, his best win was against a 42-year-old retired Larry Holmes. So that's impressive.
Point.
He ducked Lennox Lewis
7 serve 7.
until he had to fight him. Holyfield wiped the ring with him twice.
So check this out, Dave. Score is now tied up. She
Wow.
actually takes the lead.
Now, this
Point.
was your fault getting me off.
We got off
Topic
guard.
here.
Sienna probably wants us to
Short
keep on
ball.
talking about Tyson and
Yeah.
Second
who knows
serve.
what else.
Sienna scoring 7 consecutive points now. We had already started the countdown. You had. Of course, I hadn't.
No.
To Katrina's 6th women's race for 8 title, but we're going to have to hold off on that engraving.
Point.
That's what is great about
9
having
serve
games. It gives
7.
you that second chance.
You know, there was a match, Kara, in the round of 16 men's race for 8. The winning player lost the first game 15-1, was down 4-1 in the second game, came back and won the match. I mean, could that happen here?
What a
Replay.
rally. Oh,
I don't think so.
I would have liked to see how that one turned out.
I just don't think it's necessary to stop the action there. You know, a lot of times you're running, you know exactly where the ball is going to be. You have to cross your opponent, but just because you lost sight of the ball for a split second doesn't mean you have to replay it. You know, that's the kind of thing, if you were playing in
Resuming
practice,
play.
you would never
Score
stop
is 9
the play for
serve
that.
7.
I think the
Short
players should
ball,
call the hinders
second
and the
serve.
referee should be able to overrule them. You know, you may have some players that think they could get to everything and call hinders, and the referee would say no, you know. But I think the players know best whether they have a shot at the ball or not, or whether they want a shot or not.
Hand off.
And that's a great shot for
7
Katrina.
serves 9.
We have not seen Katrina play from behind in any women's race for 8 match. This is the first.
Well, at least play from behind at this point.
Right. Yeah, never playing from behind in the second half of any game. Yesterday she was down 6-1 in the beginning of that game, but now we're into the later stages.
It's different when it's 6-1 and
Yeah.
Replay.
first game and
7
So we're
serves
talking
9.
earlier, though, about officiating. It does, you have to be consistent. And
Yeah, I mean, it's like in baseball, if a referee's calling the high strike, you just accept it.
Timeout. That's your second timeout.
even
The
in
score is
basketball,
8
in any
serves
sport,
9.
Right.
the easy foul, whatever it might be.
Katrina now will step off the court. This is the first time I've seen her leave the court during a timeout. You know, I asked Katrina during that women's third place match what it's like to watch two of her friends play one another, because if you cheer, your other friend is upset. If you don't say anything,
20 seconds.
you know, your friends are thinking, are you not watching this? I mean,
Yeah.
that was a great shot. You know, so I think it's a complicated situation. And, you know, it's not as though either of these ladies can go out and get any advice, because then you're upsetting the other player.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And they don't have family here. These
No.
girls all come in, and
Right.
they're playing on their own. Martina was talking about her mom and watching from home, and at first saying, handball, that's the one you're going to pick, and that it's probably pretty exciting for her to be watching right now and see how far she's come.
Time.
And see how neat this is.
Yeah. You know, there's very few situations where you can actually, as a pro player, cheer for another pro player in a
Resuming play.
match.
The score
One
is
of those
8
is when,
serves 9.
if you're American and Americans playing in Irish, it's kind of understood that you support the American, the Irish will support the Irish, or if it's a family member. But even though you might be better friends with one player than the other, you can't be going out and telling your better friend you need to serve down the left, or you need to hit the ball to the ceiling. You know, it's a slippery slope. But now it's Katrina who's tied the score after
9 serves
Sienna
9.
scored 8 straight points. Unthinkable. It's amazing how these women can just flick the ball to the ceiling effortlessly with either hand.
Point.
You take
10 serves
a
9.
player into the court that's never used their left hand before and tried to have them throw the ball to the ceiling. They could throw 200 in a row and never hit the ceiling.
You see the women
And
flicking a lot more than the men, though.
Wow.
9 serves 10.
Now they have this. These ladies have this amazing
Short
technique with
ball.
their wrist.
Second serve.
Making Katrina make mistakes.
Point.
That's where using power effectively
10 serves 10.
is such an advantage.
Short ball. Second serve.
It's a difficult shot.
Hand off.
You see a lot of players do exactly that, shank that shot into the
10
floor. That's a strange
serves
spin
10.
coming off the back wall and the left side wall. And when it hits your hand, it just seems to go straight down. Katrina's sensing Sienna moving forward there,
Point.
and she hit that hard three-wall shot, which is
11
generally a
serves
defensive
10.
shot, but she used that shot as an offensive shot.
Sienna really, when she gets there and she has her feet ready, she can hit so
Point.
powerfully
12
that
serves 10.
I think it frustrates her when she doesn't get there and she knows she's got the arm to just whack it.
Katrina seems to be in control now, but we thought that when she was up 7-1 in this game. Katrina really recognizes when she's on offense and when she's on defense. And that was a rare mistake when she had an opportunity. But when she knows that she's in a tough spot, she's not going
And
to take
off.
chances. She just flips the ball back
10
into
serves
play
12.
and forces her opponent to hit a great shot to win a rally. Very rare that you'll see her put the ball into the floor.
What I also like about seeing Sienna these
Great
other
shot.
Irish players coming in here is, you know, a lot of times when you see
Point.
players play Katrina, they have their
11
head down.
serves 12.
They already they know the expectations that are going to happen on the court, and we've seen her pull zeros off all around the board.
Yeah.
So having some fresh kind of talent come in, and Sienna's doesn't have her head down. She's not discouraged at all. She's hanging in there. She's doing fantastic, and I shouldn't even say hanging in there. This is a game right here. So it's neat to see because there's so much more
12
confidence I feel
serves
out there
12.
against her. It's not something that it's like, okay, I'm probably going to get beat. You know, they're coming out strong.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I think it's really about preparation. These Irish ladies put so much into this, so many hours training, so much time traveling here. They're not going to come here and just put their head down and expect to get beat.
Timeout. That's your first timeout. The score is 13
That has
serves
to
12.
feel good for Sienna to have Casey call that timeout right there.
I would think so, yeah. I think what feels even better is this 3-point run after Katrina retook the lead at 12-10, seemingly on her way to another championship, and then Sienna comes in and hits a perfect left-handed kill, and then that right-hand laser down the right side wall off the back wall to take the 13th point. Let's see it here, Kara.
30 seconds.
Katrina makes a mistake there. Has to put herself in the middle of the court. Sienna hits the perfect shot.
We've seen Martina hit those shots as well, and yesterday they didn't quite, it just didn't make sense of how she got beat yesterday, but
10 seconds.
her and Sienna both have that shot. That's the kill.
Okay, resuming play. The score is 13 serves 12.
You have to win by 2. Sienna 2 points from forcing a tiebreaker here.
Hand off.
And that was not what Sienna wanted there.
12 serving 13.
She has to remember, though, she's still the one with 13. There we go.
Unbelievable shot there under pressure from Sienna.
Hand off.
Earns the side out.
13 serving 12.
Now she's in the driver's seat. 13-12. She was outscored 22-2 to start this match. Since then, she's outscored Katrina 12-5.
Replay, bat bounce off the back wall.
And that would have been a very tough shot to return.
Yeah.
I think Katrina's lucky that took a bad bounce, because that's one of those shots that just merges right on that left side wall. It's almost impossible
13
to flip back
serving
into play.
12.
Wow.
She's so strong. And when she lines up that arm, it's
Point.
she knows where
14
she's
game
going. And
ball serves 12.
Game point now for Sienna.
Short ball.
with all the momentum right now, this
Yeah.
is not what Katrina wants to go into the
Second serve.
tiebreaker.
You hate to miss your first serve on game point as a player, but she hits a good second serve there. And here's a big opportunity.
Replay.
She just moved.
Well, you know, she hit a pretty good shot there, but she hit it right back at herself. You can see here she could have gone, probably should have gone to the
14
left.
game ball serves 12.
She hit it well. And that's it.
Wow.
Sienna catches that right side wall crack. An unbelievable comeback there. And this will be the first time that Katrina Casey's been pushed to a tiebreaker in women's race for 8 history. Wow.
Exciting, David. We'll see how this goes down. I mean, we have not seen Katrina underneath this pressure before. Going into a tiebreaker, even being down as she was 9-7, was a shock somewhat to see her in that position. And right now, Sienna with all the momentum going forward as well.
We're going to take a quick break here for Dave Fink, Kara Mack. You stay tuned. We'll see you in just about 2 minutes for the tiebreaker here between Katrina Casey and Sienna Kareen.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at actionheroalliance.com.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Out there.
Katrina to serve. Most points.
Welcome
50.
back for the tiebreaker here between Katrina Casey
Tiebreaker.
and Sienna Kareen.
0 serve 0.
We certainly didn't think we'd see this, Kara, after a 22-2 start from Katrina Casey. She led 15-1, 7-1, and since then it's been all Sienna.
Point.
Kara, she put a good swing on that, and that
She
looked
did.
like it was going to be a
One
perfect kill
serve
shot, and
0.
it just popped up.
She can't be mad at herself about that one, but it's right where she likes it lined up.
Wow.
She's consistent with that shot that you just
And
know it's coming. When her feet are planted and that arm goes back,
0 serves 1.
you know it's coming. It's just you can't even get it, so there's no point.
Our women's race rate number 2, Jessica
Point.
Golly, watching from up top, said that Sienna's ball is hooking
1 serves 1.
1.5 to 2 feet during the rallies,
Short ball.
really throwing Katrina off.
Second serve.
Wow. You know it's a great shot when you don't hear
I know.
anything.
It's just
I
silent.
mean, that just died into the
One
corner.
serves
Didn't make a
1.
sound. That's why they call it a mouse.
I never knew that.
I just made it up,
Oh, okay.
actually.
I like it.
Thank you.
I'm going to use that from now
Yeah.
on.
A mouse is kind of like a hole-in-one in golf. It very rarely happens. I only have 4 in my entire race for 8 career. Paul Brady has 18 in only 10
Nice.
events. Yeah. Gene Casimoto keeps track of all those stats, of course. I want to thank her
Replay.
for that.
Do you have a hole in one is the question.
Serves 1.
I have 2.
You do not.
I do, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have the ball?
Yes, I do. I
Okay,
have
good.
both of them.
Because you know your son's going to want that someday.
I hope he does.
Hand off. 1 serves 1.
That's incredible. I've only actually seen a hole in one happen, and I was so excited I took a dozen pictures for the guy and got his phone number and gave them to him. So I couldn't believe it.
Hand off.
I knew as soon as I hit both of mine that they were in, so when they actually did go in, I was just kind of what I expected. Wasn't even all
1
that happy
serves
because I knew
1.
it was going to happen, you know, so at that point, what are you
Stop.
really going to do?
No one expects a hole in one.
I actually expect one on every shot.
You sound like Carl Obert right now.
Point. 2 serves 1.
Oh, yes, I'm witnessing the proof right now. You did a nice job.
Thank you.
Now, was that a par 5 is the question. And there was no new car? There's no tournament you were in that...
Can you believe that?
Hand off. 1 serves 2.
Just going to try to here to tie it up. You even questioned if Katrina was going to come in here and just kind of take this one like she did the first game, but no, it's staying close. It's anyone's.
Point.
You could see Katrina
2
came into the court
serves
with
2.
an extra intensity in this tiebreaker, really moving her feet. But Sienna is undeterred. Caught herself a little bit too far back in the court there, Sienna did. And that's the
2
second
serves
kill shot
2.
that Katrina's just sort of feathered up there into the left corner. And that's the worst feeling in handball, Kara. The ball hits the front wall, back wall, the easiest shot in the game, but you're pinned up there against the front wall, so you need to hit a pretty good shot. She hits it right back at Sienna. All Sienna has to do is return the ball, which she did, and she wins the rally because of it, because Katrina is so far out of position.
We saw Sienna also pin herself against the wall with her arm as she hit a couple of those shots. Did you notice that? Their left arm,
yeah.
You don't see that too often. Wonder if it gives her a little bit extra power as well to be that stable.
Amazing pass shot from Katrina. And Katrina's going to make Sienna earn every
And
point.
I think Sienna might do the same.
Yeah.
2
Churraoin.
serves 2.
We're going to 15 here.
What would this do for Salt Lake if Sienna does beat Casey here?
Well, Katrina Casey would remain #1, but Sienna would move into the
And
top
up.
5
Okay.
in just one event.
2
Now, would it be
serves
that they
2.
would see each other again in the finals, perhaps, or would they ever be put in the same bracket?
It's possible they could be in the same bracket. Would sort of depend on who showed in the top 5 and how the blind draw worked itself out. As you know, you've seen all the clips from the blind draws that we do. There's a series of ping pong balls. They're flying around in that.
I don't know why I've never been invited to this blind draw.
Oh, it's exciting. It's actually a big party. Our whole board of directors gets together.
Hand off. 2 serves 2. Point. 3 serves 2.
Katrina taking the lead here, 3-2. Can't see quite what's happened on that backcourt for that to come as an easy point there for the 3.
Perfect shot from Katrina Casey there. Let the ball drop, and it's
Point.
like Mr. Obert said, you have to let the ball drop
4
parallel with the
serves
floor.
2.
And from there, you're hardly ever going to make a mistake. And that's such a tough shot to kill because the ball's coming down high off the front wall. It has no pace on it. You're waiting for it for seemingly an eternity. And then you have to try and create your own pace with the ball only moving 5 or 10 miles per hour. And she did that perfectly there.
Seems like that's her spot, though. Not necessarily how the ball came at her, but if she gets it in that exact position and her feet are planted, she hits that like a solid forehand. And so much power.
4 serves 2.
I don't know if it's just a slow pitch. Katrina and Sienna were doubles partners at the University of Limerick. Played doubles together.
5 serves 2.
You wonder how much she knows Katrina and exactly what she's going to hit. Aoife said the same thing yesterday when I asked her, you know, she was the first woman in this pro tournament to come and be able to score some points against Katrina in a long time. And she said that that was actually because she knows her so well and she plays with her so much and they're great friends, but also she knows exactly what's going to come at her. So maybe perhaps she was able to predict a couple of those shots early on and then come back and be able to score some points against her. You wonder if that's also why Sienna must know her and exactly how she hits the ball and where it's going to go. As a doubles partner, you especially know where the ball is going to go because you have to know where your partner is hitting the ball. So if she can read anyone's shots, it's hers.
That's right. A good team knows where their opponents are going to hit each shot. That's a lot of times what makes them so good. You see Katrina now trying to stay focused. Sometimes if you come out of the court, there's so many distractions out there. You're stepping on people's feet, trying to get to your water. There's nowhere to sit. People are trying to talk to you. Believe it or not, they're even asking you the score.
5 serves 2.
Really
I
annoying.
believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but it happens literally every time you step out of the court. And now quickly it's Katrina with her 6th point.
Point. 6 serves 2.
And that's nerves there.
Point. 7 serves 2.
It seems like the slower the ball moves when you're under pressure, the harder it is and the more mistakes you see players make. It's not as hard when you can just react to the ball, but when you have all that time to think, it almost becomes like golf.
Hand off.
Well, especially in handball, you have to think so quick that it's almost like a
2
timeout
serves 7.
in a way. I mean, it's only a second or two, but that's still when your mind's moving so fast and your body's moving, just your reflexes are going. To give them that break for a second is like, oh, wait, what do I do again?
Point. 3
And the ball's in a different place than you initially thought you were going to swing at. And
Katrina with a shocking error. She rushed that shot.
Equipment timeout.
And now Katrina might be feeling some of the nerves. She got way out in front of that swing. Didn't let the ball drop.
It was a long rally.
Zooming play.
Plenty
That's
of
a
times to
point.
take over.
The
Yeah.
score is
If you're going to take over, it was who was going to do it and win. And it looked like she made the attempt to do it, and it just didn't end up in her favor in the end.
Yeah, I do.
Second serve.
I don't see a guy do this and
Amazing power. And Katrina can track
Point.
down nearly everything, and she couldn't even get her hand on that
5,
pass shot, which
serve
went just about a
7.
foot to her right.
You have to think, too, though, as we were talking about Sienna knowing how well Katrina can hit and where she's going to hit. Katrina can do the same thing with Sienna.
There's her 4th unforced error from the backcourt in this tiebreaker. We saw her make 1 off the back wall, now
Hand off.
2 overhand unforced errors.
7 serves 5.
And you have to think this match is going to come down to 2 or 3 points, and those could be the difference. Look at that hop.
Hand off.
That jumped 2 feet away from Katrina, and she
5,
didn't anticipate
serve
it. That's a
7.
left-handed 2-foot natural hop.
Short ball. Second serve.
Another error from the backcourt.
Hand off. 7 serves 5.
Well, right now she knows just where to send her.
Mhm.
Right back there. And she probably knew all along from playing with her. And
Point.
what you know what the other person's strengths are. You know how they're going to hit the ball, but you also know their
8
weaknesses.
serves 5.
Well, generally it's a good rule of thumb to keep your opponent in the backcourt. And you see that's exactly what Katrina's doing now. And this is what happens when you're under a little bit of pressure. Not every one of your shots comes off
5
like
serves
we've seen
8.
Katrina do for the last 1.5 years on the Women's Race for 8 Tour. Everything's
Point.
great, Kara, when you're up
6
10 to 0.
serves 8.
But, you know, when it's 6 to 8 in a tiebreaker,
Yeah.
you feel that tension. 7 unforced errors in this tiebreaker from Sienna, 5 of them from the backcourt.
Hand off.
She'll
8 serves
She'll know what
6.
she needs to do when she goes home.
She
Win or
will, and
lose this match.
Win or lose, and win or lose, Katrina also knows where to put it, but also knows if she wasn't making those errors or Katrina wasn't making her make those errors, this would be a completely different tiebreaker. That even if she wins here, Sienna's going to know how to fix her game a little bit when she comes back at her.
Point.
Great shot from Katrina. This would be front page news in Ireland
9
if Sienna
serves
wins this
6.
match. I'm not talking about on the sports page either. Brilliant ace there from Katrina. Kara, we've got Dave
Point.
Vincent in the
10
gallery right
serves
now.
6.
I thought he was going to be talking to us for a second.
Well, I was going to.
Oh,
but
okay.
I
thought it was just an announcement, which is also special.
I wanted Dave to finish his sentence.
I was going to officially introduce you, Dave, after this rally ends. 16 shots so far in this rally.
How is the gallery, Dave? Is it pretty busy in there?
It's really quiet, but it's really packed. 2 things I like, you know.
Well, it's hard to get
Timeout.
into there.
That's your
It's
second
been so
timeout.
packed
The
lately
score is
that
11 serves 6.
I know I'm squeezing through people.
Dave, we have a timeout here. Do you have anyone with you courtside here as Katrina Casey now leads 11-6?
Yeah, I do. We're sitting next to Martina McMahon. Martina, you're watching this close up. It's kind of a shocker. What are your thoughts about what's going on here in the match? Getting to the tiebreaker, first of all, for Sienna, one of your close friends, but then to see what's going on here as Katrina's now starting to pull away.
Yeah, no, Sienna's playing deadly stuff. Like even before the game, she didn't even seem nervous or anything, but it's good being the underdog sometimes. But no, that's a big shocker. I'm even nervous here watching it, and I'm neutral. I don't mind 2 wins, but I suppose it'd be tough to see the big shot down if Katrina loses. But I doubt that she's getting ahead now and she's pushing on.
I kind of got this feeling that Katrina was a little bit nervous there for a couple points. Did you get that as well?
Exactly, yeah. You could see then that she was mishitting the ball as well, and it wasn't working out for her, but she seemed to find her feet again, and hopefully she'll drive on.
Hopefully for her, right?
For her, yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Martina.
Thank you.
Let's go back to you guys.
Thanks, Dave. That was interesting, deadly stuff from Sienna Ni Kareem. And it's true.
She barely missed right there, Dave.
Well, Dave, that's her 8th unforced error from the backcourt
6.
in this tiebreaker. Katrina has 12 points. You heard what Mr. Obert said in an earlier match. You make 8 unforced errors, that's a 8 unforced errors is a 16-point difference in a match.
Every time you bring up Carl's name, our electronics go into a frenzy.
Sienna has to put that shot away, and she doesn't. And now it's going to be nearly impossible, Dave, for Sienna to come back.
13 serving 6.
Trailing 13-6. One of the best rallies of the match there, ended by
Timeout.
Katrina Casey with a
That's your final timeout. Is 30 seconds.
left-handed kill.
Scores 14, serve 6.
Saw Sienna go to the ground there. The head dip.
Dave, did you expect Katrina to go for that left-handed kill from about 30 feet after 22 shots in that rally?
I think that she felt Sienna just behind her to the right and just went with her gut. She decided to go for it. I didn't expect it, but I think she was feeling something there.
You know, Katrina might be like some of the other top pro players that kills the ball better with her left hand. I mean, she's hit some incredible kill shots with her left hand. Flat rollouts.
Game.
Katrina ends the match inside of there. 2 consecutive left-handed kills down the left wall. It was an amazing match. Okay, this is what we've wanted to see. Katrina Casey pushed to the limit, and she was, and we saw how she responded to some adversity. She responded exceptionally well, just like I think we all thought she would. And for Sienna, a coming out party, her first women's race for 8 start, she makes the final, not only makes the final, but pushes Katrina all the way to the brink. That tiebreaker for about the first half of it was certainly up in the air. We didn't know what was going to happen, but at the end it was the experience and the shot making of Katrina Casey that prevails.
I think when you see that 15-6 tiebreaker, you think, oh, Casey did end up taking it pretty easily, but that was not the case at all.
No.
It's kind of like those basketball games where, you know, it's 10 points, but it wasn't.
We're going to go courtside with Dave Vincent. Dave, you're with our finalist, Sienna Ni Kareem.
Sienna, it was a great tournament for you. You made it here to the finals. You forced a tiebreaker, something that we haven't seen in really kind of years for us, really, to see Katrina go to a tiebreaker. How do you feel right now about where you're at? I know the loss is tough, but what's your thoughts?
Well, obviously I'm disappointed with the loss, but you know, it's tough going up against Katrina. She has so much experience in these kind of competitions, but overall it was a great tournament for me, considering it was my first time at the Pro Stop, so you know, I can't do too much complaining.
I know Katrina really well, and I know that she's really happy for you, even though she's playing against you. She was rooting for you earlier. She was sitting next to you, and you guys are opponents, and you know, she's such a great warrior. But on the world stage, as you've played a lot of matches, you've won national championships now in doubles and the things that you've done back home, where does this stand in what you've done with your own legacy here at this event, this tournament, this first stop for, you know, the biggest event that you've played?
Well, it definitely means a lot to me, like, because usually when I play Katrina, I can get to about 10 or 12 in the first game and then kind of fade away in the second, but I thought it was different today. I started off kind of poorly, but then I kind of fought my way back. So I was happy, like, I didn't give up, and I played a bit better towards the end of the games.
I've spoken to Katrina about you specifically before the tournament happened, and she said, this is the one that I'm looking at right now. And so, and that's a, you know, I think a great compliment. She kind of centered you out and said, you're the one, you know. And I think after talking to Paul Brady and some of the other Irish players that play the game, they've also said the same thing. So we want to congratulate you on making it to the finals here, forcing the tiebreaker, but really putting on a good show and being a great sportsman. This is the award for second place, but the real award is just being around you and watching you play. We want to thank you for that.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Sienna Nee Kareen, hands together for those that have watched her and have faced her throughout the tournament. We are now going to award our champion once again, Katrina Casey. This is another one of these big, heavy crystals. I know that they don't let you on the plane anymore with these, so we have to specially ship these to you. I want to give this to you in advance because I want you to hold that instead of me. Congratulations on this win. It was a little bit more tough this time for you at this race stop. It's not 0-0 city like it was in San Francisco. I know there's a lot of emotions right now. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about where we're at right now?
I'm delighted, like, good game, Sienna. She played really well, and, you know, I felt like I was playing well yesterday and, like, killing the ball well. Not so much today, and I made some hand errors and stuff, but that was due to Sienna, like, and the pressure she was putting on me and the power she was putting behind her shots and everything, and, like, it's a great achievement for her to, like, not patronizing her, because I know she came here to win, like, the same as I did, and she just played very well, so I'm sure she'll be back again, hopefully, on the tour, and yeah, just very happy. Like, I was pushed all the way, and, like, I'm preparing for the All-Ireland Championship final now next weekend, and, like, this game was worth probably 2-3 weeks training at least to me, so yeah, I'm just happy. Like Sienna said, she came back strong in the second game, and I'm happy, like, that I didn't, you know, give in the third, so yeah, happy.
Okay, so you haven't been pushed, and you haven't had those butterflies and you know, the nervous energy that you would get when you are forced to go to a tiebreaker, and we haven't seen what happens to you when that happens, because it's been really dominating single-digit type wins, and if they do score more than 10, it's 11 or 12. So what was that feeling to have that again? I don't know when the last time it was, but what was that feeling for you when you were forced to go to the tiebreaker, or when it was about ready to go and it was 12-13 and you were getting those little things going on in your knees? Was that something that you say, this is what I'm here for, or you say, I need to fight through this?
A bit of both, like, that I needed to fight through it. Yeah, I suppose it has been a while since I was pushed to a breaker, but I didn't underestimate Sienna coming into the game. She played very strong at the Collegiate Nationals a couple of weeks back, and she led 10-8 in the first game in that. And I knew, like, she'd be very dangerous, especially with the 15-game format, and I couldn't afford to, like, give up too big a lead this time. Yeah, maybe I learned a lot actually in that second game. Like, I could have used my timeouts better and things like that. So it's definitely a learning curve.
It looks like you might be developing a rivalry with one of your close friends, with your current national doubles champions. What does it feel like to kind of play somebody that has the mentality that you have, somebody that's a sponge, that's learning new things? You see that just in a couple weeks' time, she's already learned how to adapt to some of the elements that are thrown her way. The next time you play, it might be even tighter, but you're also that same sponge, so you know what she's going through. You have to give her a lot of credit. Right now, what are you going to fight through? What are you going to try to work on and say, I need to do better to try to keep her off? Because, you know, Paul Brady's been doing this for a long time. He's been fighting off Armando Ortiz, the Robbie McCarthy's and the Luis Morenos for a long time. What are you going to do to fight her off?
Just, like, this is why I train hard. Like, it's good to be involved in such a tough game, and it just goes to show, probably it showed up some weaknesses, definitely, and just playing under pressure, maybe I could probably do with playing more training games rather than just practicing skills by myself, because then, you know, it applies more to the game, I suppose. Yeah, I won't give too much away. Plenty to work on.
We want to thank you at the World Players of Handball. I know your sponsor, the sponsor of the Professional Handball Tour, Edel Handball, and Ben Edel at edelhandball.com. They want to thank you as well for being one of their banner wavers on the professional tour. The New York Athletic Club, really, you know, they can't be more happy than what they've had here with the showing from the women players, and of course Sienna and Martina and Aoife, as well as Danielle and all the other ladies that have showed up here. Women's handball is in a really good hands right now, and I know that you have other things coming up. Salt Lake City's right around the corner. Is that the next target?
Yeah, well, like I said, I have the All-Ireland Championship singles final next weekend, so that'll be a very tough game. And after that, I have doubles championship as well, so that'll be good preparation for Salt Lake City, and I'm looking forward to it. It was a great tournament last year, and hopefully I'll work on a few things in the meantime, and I'll come back strong.
Okay, I know you. We have the men's finals coming up next with Paul Brady and Andy Nett, and I know that you're going to go refresh and get right back and watch this because that's what you do best. But we want to say before you leave, congratulations. It's been a really well-fought match. It was entertaining. Not necessarily for you maybe, but it was for us, and you've done it again. You're the consummate champion. You've done a lot of great stuff for women's handball, and you might not even know it. So we want to thank you for that, also winning this trophy, and congratulations for the win here in New York.
Thanks.
Back to you guys as we wrap it up, and the round of applause from the crowd here in New York at the Athletic Club, where we'll have Paul Brady going up next against Andy Nett as Katrina Casey fights off Sienna Kareen here in the finals in a tiebreaker, and she has now won another consecutive win on the WPH Race for 8 Tour. We'll now have the men's finals on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. I'm going to send it right back to you guys.
Thanks, Dave. Great interview there with Katrina Casey and also our finalist, Sienna Kareen. Amazing match. I think the future for the women's race for 8 is extremely bright when you have competitors like Katrina Casey, Sienna, Martina, Aisling Riley when she comes to these events. Just some outstanding young women's handball players. Kara, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to come back with the men's final. Paul Brady against the Cinderella story, the guy who had to qualify here starting on Thursday night, former Elite 8 pro Andy Nett. You stay tuned for Dave Fink, Kara Mack, Dave Vincent, Chris Garrad, Gene Kastner, and Jeff Kastner. Linda Manning, we'll see you in a bit.